How's everybody doing today? I'm Travis.
And I'm Aaron, and we are the Cancel This Podcast. Kyle Rittenhouse, hero or villain?
I'm kind of stuck between on him. I don't know really where to label him.
I am all aboard the hero train for Kyle. Watching the videos, I think there's very little room for argument that he was not in self-defense. I think the one argument against him is that he lived 25 minutes away, but he worked in the city and he didn't cross state lines with the gun. So for me, I think the biggest thing is that I saw the video of other people chasing him. In New York Times, I believe, reported that someone else fired a gun first and then he returned fire. And I think for me, those are the biggest sticking points when you're talking about self-defense, is that he didn't instigate. And I don't believe carrying a gun alone is enough reason, to say this person deserved to be attacked. Wisconsin is an open carry state. So you can't say this person was following their rights and they deserve to be attacked for it.
Well, another point on that, though, is it's a point of what's happening down there. You know what's going on. He knew what was going on. Everybody knew what was going on after the Jacob Blake incident. And he went there with the gun on him. And some would say that he was antagonizing. He was asking for it to happen. There's the opinion of maybe he was just down there to protect himself or protect the property that was down there. But he put himself in a position that you almost could guarantee what the end result would be.
I think a lot of people miss that he also had a medic bag on him. And he was interviewed earlier that day saying that he was there to provide medical services for any side. And his day job in the city was a community lifeguard. So he had actual skills of pertaining to medical. I think he had good enough reason to be there. It was his community. I mean, he doesn't live there, but he works there.
Right. He's a part of the community, and I understand that. It comes down to a point of the people that have been there. We've been seeing the videos for months and months. I mean, even years at this point. Every time there's an incident, whether it was a wrong incident or a right incident, before we even have those answers, it becomes an issue of people are rioting in the streets, they're burning buildings, they're looting, and we're not going to say all those people are bad people that are out there, because there's some people that are out there to just...
Good people on both sides.
Right. Well, there's people out there that are protesting what happened, what they see as an injustice, and that's okay, that's a good thing. But there are people out there, and we have seen them, who are out there strictly to cause mayhem. Now, if he's there with the thought in his mind of, okay, I'm going to protect people and I'm going to prevent mayhem from occurring, or at least try to prevent it, and he's doing it by all legal means, then that is a good thing, and we can't be mad about that. But we have to make sure that he was following all the laws when he was going about that. Was he of age? Was he allowed to open carry like that? Whether or not he was putting himself in that situation, he may not have been going there with the thought in mind of, okay, something bad's going to occur and that's what I'm here for. He may have been going there, like you said, with the thought of, if something bad occurs, at least I know I can protect myself and property around me and people around me.
He lived closer than 2 out of the 3 people that he shot.
Oh, see, and that changes things too. And
I mean, people keep talking about, he crossed, he didn't even live in the same state. But yeah, he lived 25 minutes away. That's closer than I live from my work. And when you watch the video, he only shoots the people when they are like lunging at him.
Right.
And as soon as they are no longer a threat, he's not like the cops that shot the Jacob Blake guy. He didn't shoot 7 shots in the back of the guy.
Well, and we can touch on that too, the Jacob Blake situation, because that is something, like, if you've ever been through police training, like when I was in the military, I went through security training and we went through police training. They make you watch videos of incidents that occur so you can learn to prevent those incidents from happening to yourself. One of the videos that they make you watch is a police officer pulls a guy over, he gets out of the car, he's talking to him. The guy starts heading back to his car. The police officer tells him to stop multiple times. The guy doesn't. As soon as the guy opens his car door, he's got a shotgun right there, turns around, shoots the police officer. Officer dies. They make you watch those videos so you can understand how quickly a situation can go south. Now, from the video, from what I was able to put together, the police officers are telling him not to do it, and he keeps heading towards the vehicle and decides to open the vehicle. Now, you put yourself and his children in the vehicle at risk when you do something like that. So there are incidents happening in the world. We can all see that. There's bad things happening. There's bad cops. But we got to stop with the narrative of all cops are bad. Ignore all cops. Do whatever you want. And if they kill you or if they shoot you, they're in the wrong. Like, we have to stop doing that because it's doing more harm than good. More people are getting hurt. And that's why incidents are becoming more prevalent this day and age.
Yeah. I think the biggest lesson, the biggest thing that we can learn here is that follow police orders at that time. And
Absolutely.
If they violate your Constitution rights, I hope you sue them. And I hope you get a big chunk of money, and I hope they learn their lessons, the department learns a lesson, and you're able to walk away with money from a lawsuit rather than being crippled or...
Exactly. And I had an incident, and I'll just touch on it quickly. When I was younger, I was 16 at the time. My girlfriend was driving. We got pulled over. They said we didn't yield long enough at a yield sign. Apparently, it's supposed to be 3 seconds, full yield. With that happening, Flint police officers pulled us over, got us both out of the vehicle, put us both in the back of the cop car in cuffs.
Why were you pulled out of the car?
She didn't have her driver's license on her. That was their reasoning. So they pulled us out of the vehicle, put us in cuffs, and put us in the back of the cop car.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry to stop you here. I've had someone hit my car. The cops came. The lady didn't have a license, registration, nothing. She hit me when I was at a stop sign, and nothing happened. She got to walk away, but you're telling me that you got handcuffed and put in the back of a car?
Yep, at 16 years old, handcuffed, put in the back of the cop car. The issue, though, was where I lived. The neighborhood I lived in, it was a known drug neighborhood. They thought we were, because I went to my house and we were leaving, they thought we were picking up drugs. They didn't know it was my house, so they pulled us over, took us, put us in the back of the cop car, searched the entire vehicle. We were back in the back of the cop car for a good 45 minutes. Now, this isn't right, but I could have sat there and told them no. I could have cussed them out. I could have went crazy.
Just go start kicking the windows.
Right, and that situation would have went very differently for me in a bad way. Now, I didn't like it, but I just followed the rule. I did what I was told. We got to get back in the truck, and we got to leave and go on about our day. Now, we could have handled the situation with higher-ups down the line if we wanted to. We never did, but that option was there. If you decide to take matters into your own hands on the scene, then you're never going to have that opportunity to correct it down the road.
Let me ask you this. With the technology today, with the cameras that we got, do you think minor infractions that aren't hazardous, let's say like license plate renewals, maybe your headlights out,
Seatbelt,
something like that. Do you think we should cancel police pulling people over for those type of incidents, and maybe just, the camera catches it sends out the infraction bill, whatever? That's a totally different topic, but it sends out instead of having the police stopping you, using that as a excuse to check your car, which I think, honestly, for me, that's like a warrantless search.
Right, correct.
They could have easily, A, checked to see if you lived there, but B, just because you were in the area doesn't mean you had anything associated with drugs. You probably, I assume you didn't smell like drugs. I assume you weren't acting like you were on drugs.
Right.
But because they pulled you over for yielding or not yielding long enough, you were in the back of a cop car for 45 minutes. So what if, like, instead of being pulled over for not having your license plate renewal, we just skip all that and there's no longer that stressful situation where the cops are having to deal with people more than they should?
Right. Less pullover means less incidents that can occur. And I agree with you. I think issues like that, like, an expired license plate or those minor infractions like you're talking about, I think those should come down to if there's an incident of some other sort, like a major incident, and then that's discovered, then it becomes something that you deal with. I don't think you shouldn't be pulling people over for a suspended license or a expired license plate and then looking for other issues.
Yeah.
Rather, you should be, once you find those bigger issues, then you can say, okay, well, you also had an expired license plate. We're going to take care of that too. Like, we're not, if the cops are so busy worrying about every petty crime, especially in these high crime areas. I mean, if you've lived in Flint, a place like Flint, there's places all around the world like that. You know that if you call the cops, it's going to be a long time before they arrive.
What you're kind of describing is kind of like a glorified stop and frisk.
Essentially, that's what it is. Yeah.
I mean,
And that's what they've been doing all around the country. It doesn't get enough attention because people are getting pulled over. And like me, I was 16. A 16-year-old doesn't know no better. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what's going on. You just know the cops pulling you over. You just do what you're told. You get in the back of the cop car. And that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of those situations. And I think it's very prevalent. I think the stop and frisk is happening all over the country.